This is Channel 253.
On this episode of the Grit and Grain podcast.
So, yeah, and then went over to Columbia Distributing and was doing grocery sales for a while, and then realized that, like, that's not where my passion within this industry was, you know, selling 7-Up and Coors Light.
You don't say.
Yeah, you know, like, I didn't have any enjoyment of it. It was this job that I was waking up for at 4 o'clock in the morning,
getting yelled at by receivers,
by angry receivers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Channel 253 is member supported. I'm producer Doug Mackey, and I hope you will show your support by going to channel253.com/membership and join. Thank you.
Welcome to the Grit and Grain podcast, where we explore and celebrate the craft beer industry, community, and history in Tacoma, Washington, and surrounding Pacific Northwest areas. Thank you so much for hanging out. Let's get to it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Grit and Grain podcast, coming to you guys from Peaks and Pints in Tacoma, Washington. Dang, Doug. That was... Yeah, there we go. My name is Matt McLaren. I'm here as always with Ron Swarner.
Hello.
How's it going, Ron?
Happy birthday, Matt.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
Did you have a good one?
Yeah, it was lovely. It was super chill. Ate delicious food and ate too many brownies, and now I have a headache. Worth it.
Sounds fun.
It was fun. Those kinds of brownies. No, I'm kidding. My wife would never. They were peanut butter brownies. They were delicious.
What?
I know. They were so good.
I'm into that.
Bethany, how are you?
Good. Great. How are
Good.
you guys?
Good.
Good.
We recorded double headers last time. It's been 2 weeks since we've seen each other, so we all have catching up to do.
Yeah.
Phaedra's on mic as well. How's it going, Phaedra?
Good.
Just chilling, scrolling your phone.
Just chilling.
Just
Well,
having.
since you called me fact check Phaedra last time.
Wait, is that what I called you?
You did.
Oh.
At one point when I was.
With a PH?
I guess.
Fact
Why
check.
not?
That's how you spell her name, Ron.
I was like, maybe I should have my phone so that I can look up stuff if I need to.
Okay,
So,
fair enough. Well,
you know,
we're going to need to today because we
step into
couldn't
that
find
role.
any dirt on our guests. So
oh, wait, you wanted photos? That's totally different.
perfect. Well, yeah. So actually, our guest today is probably a long overdue one. We were just joking about that. But he's kind of a Tacoma OG, has sold Tacoma beer, and also just came back from GABF, so we can talk about that a little bit. But David Maravilla, how you doing, man?
An urban,
Hi, David.
urban legend.
An urban legend.
Oh, there you go.
I'm not sure that's true.
Half of it.
Depends on what you're talking about. If it's chugging, you might be right.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah,
Forgot about Chuck.
I did
yeah,
too.
I kind of did too, actually.
What's
That's probably literally chugging,
Is
chugging
that,
beer.
is that Facebook thing going strong still? The chuggers?
No,
Okay.
I think I've posted once or twice in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And
You know
was a
who did
COVID
just
thing.
try to? Yeah, it was a COVID thing. We were all real sad.
oh yeah,
Justin Burnick just posted the first video on it in I don't know.
probably 6 months.
Yeah, at least.
What is this for someone who's not really on Facebook?
Literally just a fucking group of fat dudes that chug beer, and then David.
Sometimes not beer, man.
Sometimes not beer.
Yeah.
I did chug a
What?
twisted tea, and then almost threw it up. But yeah, it was right after the TKO video got really popular. And then I took a picture of a twisted tea can in custom glassware that we make at Orcas, and I was because that happened right before the holidays, and I think I said something like, whatever your New Year's goal is, make sure you come out swinging. And it was twisted tea in my fancy glass. I didn't want to waste it afterwards, so I posted the video of me chugging all 19.2 ounces of it.
Fantastic.
It was an oof for sure.
I feel like we have a chugging video from a previous episode, early
Yeah,
on
who
in
was
year
that?
one.
Was that Doug from Everybody's?
Oh, of course it was.
I
Probably.
think so, but
Yeah.
aren't you in it? Oh, did you?
Yeah,
I
there was
think-
one. I think we shotgun a beer on the
Yeah,
back
on the
steps
back
of
section.
Parkway.
That is 100% correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel
100%
like it,
correct.
yeah, that's coming to mind. Yeah.
Fact check Phaedra.
just a-
on the clock, baby.
There you go.
Well, I mean, you need a fact checker with a bunch of beer degenerates. So.
That is fair.
So then I'm not the beer degenerate. Great. I like that. That's awesome.
So, David, can you tell me what's in the Dakota's Knockout Breakfast?
Oh man, it's hash browns, it's gravy, sausage gravy. There's a couple eggs on top of there somewhere.
Cheddar cheese.
Yeah, cheddar cheese. Basically everything that you can find in the kitchen of a diner piled onto one plate.
Where is this?
And what is
Mrs. Turner's in Puyallup.
Yeah. It's
Oh.
it's kind of kitty corner from the Powerhouse.
Yeah,
downtown
yeah,
Puyallup.
I've been there.
Yeah, I worked there for like 3 years.
Really? Mm-hmm. Fuck, Ron, how do you do this?
Casamia too, right?
Yeah, Casamia. Worked there for less than a year,
I did know that one.
and also in Puyallup.
serving?
Serving,
Bartending?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that restaurant was kind of doing a little bit of everything: bartending, serving, dishwashing, cooking. Did all of it. Yeah.
Yeah. What are we drinking? Sorry,
Oh,
we
what are you
skipped over it,
Yeah.
right?
Ron's just so
The
excited.
fast fashion hazy pale. I can't remember the name of it.
Rain Man.
Rain Man.
It's Sean Kemp.
So good.
Dustin Hoffman. Sorry, it's probably Sean Kemp. What are you drinking, Dave?
I am also drinking the Rain Man Fast Fashion Hazy Pale.
Dang. No, I gotta try it too.
It
Yeah,
does
you do.
not drink this like as heavy as it looks. It's like
Yeah,
Oh, really?
it's really nice.
It looks
and
thick,
light.
but it's real easy.
not-
Nice. What do you have, Ron?
How are the hops?
hazies these days. Really good.
Because that man has hops. I'm drinking.
It smells so good.
I'm drinking the Urban Family Test Fest.
Test Fest?
Yeah. Thanks, Ron.
Why is it called that?
Fast beer? What is it? Fast
You know, I
Yep, that's fair.
can't remember the origins for all of the stupid beer names that we have. I
Which
think-
some of them are like pretty goated beer names, dude.
Yeah,
They're-
fire
you guys
ants.
are very good.
I think Test Fest, I think that stemmed from us using all malt from, gosh, I'm blanking on the malt supplier now.
in Spokane.
Yeah.
Link.
Link.
Yes.
Yep.
Everything's linked.
Yeah,
Nailed
so-
it.
Yeah, it was the first year that we did it. This is version 3, I believe. I think it was the first beer that was 100% link malt in for one of our beers.
Nice. You guys really have been hanging out with Brett from Lumberbeard.
Yeah, I love that dude.
Because he does that shit too.
love that
I think
guy.
there's maybe one beer that is less than 100% link malt that he makes, and it's like still 98%.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes sense because me and Theo, our head brewer, went out to Spokane. This is probably 2 years ago now to make a beer with Brett and Lumberbeard, and like everybody from Link Malt was just hanging out for the entire day.
Yep.
I just met Theo at the
The
thing I just
the
spoke
master
at.
brewer.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, the Master Brewers
What number beer are you
Yeah,
on?
did-
Tacoma. Yeah.
Yeah, did you talk to him at all?
Yeah, totally.
Nice.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
needed a ride from one venue to the next, and so he
Glad
rode
he's
in my
being
minivan
responsible.
for a minute. Yeah. Yeah, cool dude.
Yeah,
Sure.
I love that guy. He's doing really great work. He makes my job really easy, which is great. Him and Sean and Sam are other two brewers, making great test fest beers and
Totally.
barley wines and IPAs and lagers and sours.
Hours.
Yeah.
Phaedra, what are you drinking?
The small double.
Oh, good call. I love that fucking beer. I'm so like surprised to see that on tap,
delicious.
I know. I
honestly.
wish they would put the triple.
In the kegs. Yeah.
It's delicious.
Is that a plastic keg, Ron?
Perfect for a day like today.
Damn it. I thought it was. I thought for sure that would be a plastic keg. Fuck. You send it back. Damn it. I thought I had you for a sec.
I want my $45.
So David,
You're right there, man.
Yep.
after wrestling practice, what would you drink?
A lot of Sprite.
Okay.
A lot of Sprite. a lot
What
of
was your
Right.
first beer?
Man, first beer is probably whatever was in the fridge at home. So probably MGD, maybe a Rainier or Coors Light.
Yeah.
It is funny because that question is always like, what beer did your parents drink?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And like
Yeah.
that's that question. And then you're like, okay, but what's like the first beer you had?
That you chose.
Yeah, that you chose.
The first beer that I chose was, man, it's probably like Widmer Drop Top.
Ooh.
That's the one
the
I remember.
amber?
Yeah, the amber. Yeah, that's the one that I remember drinking the most before I was legally supposed to or allowed to drink beer.
That's a good choice. That's actually kind of like a low key banger too. That was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, back in the days when I had like I tried a Red Hook Long Hammer and was like, oh my god, why do people drink these? And
and you couldn't buy a package of Mac and Jacks, so you were like,
Yeah.
what's the closest thing I could get? This Widmer.
this
Yeah.
Drop
It was
Top.
on Tap of the Swiss quite a bit.
Oh, was it?
He couldn't go in there when he was
Yeah.
drinking it.
I know. Just saying,
I mean, maybe.
miss that place.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, can we crack one of the beers that you brought? Because I already chugged my Fresh Betty because it's really good.
Yeah. What are we feeling? I've got an array.
A what?
I've got an array.
Oh, okay.
Start with that lager, the rice
The
lager.
lager?
Yeah.
Let's do it. What is this?
This is Party. It's a premium rice lager. It's mostly jasmine rice and a little bit of flaked rice. It's kind of I think everyone at the brewery, it's kind of our favorite beer to consume. So we're just making it all the time.
Nice.
Yeah, we're pretty selfish like that.
That's all right. That's like a whole category of beers. Like beers our brewers want to drink, and then beers we need to sell to keep the bills paid.
Yeah, 100%. Like this is the brewer's beer.
Yeah. And those Venn diagrams barely bump uglies. Like they just don't overlap very much.
Yeah.
Everything that a brewer would drink is all of the shit that is impossible for somebody like me to sell. Or you.
Yeah.
That's fucking delicious
Yeah,
though.
just nice, easy
Yeah,
drinking. I think it's only 4.5%, 5% alcohol.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it's the brewer's beer and the Bud Light drinker's beer.
It is delicious.
And the 3 o'clock drinker beer.
3, 4,
Or you're at the end
5.
of your brew day
Yeah.
drinking beer.
Yeah. This is like lunch break beer.
Yeah.
So, David, what took you from Casamia to Marine View?
It wasn't a direct jump there. Actually, I left Casamia and went back to working waiting tables at Mrs. Turner's.
Because you love the knockout so much.
I love the knockout so much. Yeah, so I mean, I was 22 and not really into I didn't want to continue down the path of just being a career server. Wanted something a little bit more stable, something with health benefits would be nice, and some more structure. So my roommate at the time was a driver for Marine View Beverage, and said, "Hey, it's the middle of summer. We are in desperate need of help. Apply." And so I ended up getting the job as merchandiser for Marine View Beverage.
Nice.
Following in the footsteps of the great Keith Carpenter.
100% true, actually. It's quite the legacy, man. Good luck. He's still doing it, so you still have a long way to go.
Yeah, I've got like 45 years to go.
I know.
That was when you were 22?
22,
you started?
yeah.
That's
So yeah,
young
it's
to get in
been
the
That's
craft
young for this side.
beverage.
yeah. So
industry.
yeah, I'm 32 years old and 10 plus years into the industry or 10 and a half years.
On the distribution side, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is pretty wild to think about actually.
Yeah.
Dave's been on this side of the industry longer than I have. He was actually my sales rep when I was a receiver and beer buyer at Bevmo.
Yeah, I remember
Oh, really?
meeting Matt for the first time when he was wearing his red apron with a pin on it that said "Certified Beer Server."
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I definitely did that.
Congratulations.
100% did that. Yeah. That was, yeah.
He had his
That was me.
flair.
Yeah,
I had my
His
flair.
flair. Ask me about craft
That was
beer.
my flair.
I love craft beer.
Hey, shut up, Bethany. The way
All
I
jobs are good jobs.
Dude, that's fair.
Yeah, no kidding.
The way I mistreated this motherfucker too, you just have no idea. We used to sell kegs to go, and I used to like verbally abuse people for not rotating their kegs so that like we could sell the last ones first. And like I would tell David to come in and like, hey, can you FIFO these fucking 15.5 gallon, 180 pound kegs? And I always assumed
you?
you would just go in there and like play like, you know, Angry Birds for 10 minutes and come out and be like,
Was that an option?
no. The thing is, you were the only person actually doing it. And to this day, I am so sorry for being such a dickhead.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah.
I mean, at that time, the half barrel weighed as much as I did. So
Yeah.
And so, like, you're fucking anybody who's like worked in a small cooler and like had to stand on top of kegs to lift a keg up. It's the shittiest, most dangerous deadlift you could possibly do because you're not standing on anything stable. You're standing on other wet, like slippery kegs, and you're like hoisting 180 pounds. And I would be like, hey, can you go FIFO these fucking to-go kegs? We ordered 15 of them from you this week, and it's going to take us a month to sell them, but go rotate them. And I think a lot about if somebody asked me to do that now, how many different ways I would tell them to go fuck themselves.
You know, I really appreciate the fact that you kept our kegs all the way in the corner, too.
Right.
It was a lot of fun.
Why are we working as a team to lift kegs?
Because I was a piece of shit. I had a lot of maturing to do, and I regret every day that I didn't do it before I met David.
Yeah, he doesn't know that there was a lot of swearing going on in that cooler.
You were just taking the keg collars and flipping them around. They're
That's
fine.
oh my god, that's the fucking move. I know, it was Coors Light too. Like it actually fucking mattered. It didn't.
Well, actually, on
smarter,
the Coors
not
Light kegs,
harder.
the dates were actually stamped on the tops of the kegs.
Oh, so you had already thought about this, and you were like, "Fuck, I can't do
I
that."
can't do that.
I mean, could I have maybe rubbed the ink off of the keg? Maybe,
Yeah.
but
Just sharpened it on the next one. Yeah. So Dave's been doing this, at least on this side, for longer than I have, which is awesome. And he like we talked about it. He sold Tacoma beer too. You were at Marine View for a little while, and then
Columbia.
Columbia. Is that
yeah,
right?
I was at Marine View Beverage from 2014 to I'm trying to remember the timeline. I think 2017. 18 is when Columbia bought Marine View Beverage.
FYI.
That's Phaedra's job, Ron.
I know.
Wait, no, that's research. That's different.
So yeah, and then went over to Columbia Distributing and was doing grocery sales for a while, and then realized that like that's not where my passion within this industry was. You know, selling 7-Up and Coors Light.
You don't say.
Yeah, you know, like I didn't have any enjoyment of it. It was this job that I was waking up for at 4 o'clock in the morning,
Getting yelled at by receivers.
by angry receivers.
Yep.
And so I made the switch over to convenience store sales, just because I wanted a little bit more experience to hopefully pick up a supplier job, and did that for about a year. And then Pete Gisty, who was with 7Cs at the time, called, and so that's when I went over to the supplier side with 7Cs.
He called you.
He called me. Yeah.
Fucking headhunted.
Yeah.
Ah, cool.
That means you were crushing it over in C stores.
I guess.
Dude, I was trying to explain to Ron like C-store mafia behavior like back in the day. Like I don't know what territory you were in, but I ran a C-store route when I first started at Columbia down on like the Thurston and Yelm area, which is like
Okay, yeah.
less busy, like less oversight because it's so fucking far away. And so like with that, just naturally you get really shitty behavior from like competing distributors. I don't know how often you ran into that, but like I was trying to explain to Ron, like, you know, sometimes you would pick up like a 6-pack of something of like a Lagunitas IPA, and somebody will have taken a razor blade and cut half of the bottom of the package out so that when you get halfway across the fridge, it all crashes to the ground because the package breaks open.
What?
Dude, all the fucking time.
It can get pretty brutal.
Dude, people soft open all of your cans. If you have cans out, they'll go and like pull them open so that they're
Like, just
they
barely-
feel low filled.
yeah.
Yep. And so like the like they usually won't do this bit, but I've had somebody like a store owner will call me and be like, hey, my other guy was in here and brought up a case of your beer and said that these were all low filled, and it was because he had soft opened all the tops on them. And so like it's either explain that this dude did that or like just handle a return or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's all the fucking time in convenience stores.
Yeah, I never had that bad of an experience doing it. I was mostly covering doing relief sales for C stores. But it seemed like everyone with their Northwest Beverage or Olympic Eagle counterparts had a pretty decent relationship.
That's nice.
And so there wasn't a whole lot of that happening. It was mostly like our tags for a bunch of beers would be missing, or
or
like,
tucked behind the
or tucked behind, or like flipped around, or every once in a while, someone would need to do whatever they needed to do and would take all of your beers off of a shelf and shove it in a corner somewhere.
Yup.
That is like the worst hiding spot ever.
Dude, I fucking
Yeah, I never had anyone
That's
razor
crazy.
blading anything.
Oh, I had that a couple of times.
In like grocery days, there would be there was a couple reps that were known for ripping handles off of like 24 packs of Coors Light or whatever.
Oh yeah, so
yeah.
So the customers can't buy the beer, and so since the customers can't buy the beer, the store doesn't want to sell the beer.
Yep.
So yeah, that was probably the biggest issue that I've had with that.
I walked in. This is the only time I've ever gotten into like very close to like an actual altercation with somebody. But I walked into a really small convenience store in Yelm off of Old Highway 99 that was very old and had a really shitty old fridge and like not a ton of oversight. And I walked in. It was like on a random day where I was writing ahead, so it wasn't the normal day in. And I walked in on another rep pulling all of my shit off the shelf and stacking it like in the back.
Yeah.
And we had just done a reset there, so he was just pissed off that like we had taken like some of my stuff took over some of his stuff, and so yeah, he was taking it off and then like obviously gonna go write an order to fill in all the holes on the shelves that he had just made. But I saw him like shoving my shit in the corner, and I was like, "Hey man, don't fucking touch my stuff! Like this is a problem now." And it was like a whole and he was like, well, you guys came in and like you just fucking like you reset everything and like you took all my stuff off the shelf and I've been here for like 10 years, and it was just like one of those. It's like,
yeah, some people get real shitty about it, and it's we're all just doing a job, So
yep.
let's
C-store mob
bring it
activity.
together. Yeah,
So
it can be pretty rough.
Because I'm not familiar with that side of the business at all. So when you say we just did a reset, so who decides where the stuff goes? Is it the C-store owner, the
typically
marketing
it
person?
kind of depends. So if it's like a big chain like the Jackson Shell, then there's one of the companies has the contract to do all of the sets for those stores. The same with like Safeway or Fred Meyer or QFC. They have one distributor that's in charge of their sets. So things can get somewhat skewed. When it comes to like the little 76 station down the street, it's the person doing the reset is kind of determined by the owner of the store or the management of the store. So, I know with some companies, there are category managers that are paid to get more resets. And so they're not really doing anything other than going into convenience stores and pitching resets. So it's store by store basis. Yeah. But it's usually a distribution company.
Which does mean like whichever one gets the reset is usually the one who like ends up with 70% of the products on the shelf.
Right.
But like it was pretty common for like you could as a rep you could do it too. It's like, hey, like I noticed you're not maximizing or optimizing your space on some of these things. What if we came in and brought a whole team of our guys to make sure that you're making as much money as possible on your dollars per foot on every single shelf? And you would find little ways to like pitch it like that. And as soon as they greenlit it, like at least at Columbia and other bigger distributors, they have a whole team of people who will come in within a couple hours. Everything is reset. And now I have 70% of the shelf real estate versus 45% of the shelf real estate.
Yeah,
How often does that happen?
Pretty often.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends. Sometimes it's once a year. Sometimes it's once every 10 years. Sometimes, the reset is just like, we're going to swap like this cooler door with this cooler door. And that could happen like, every month.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, this is turning into a convenience store episode.
It's the most fun part of the beer industry.
Things I've never thought about.
I
That
know.
other people listening have not
Who has
thought
the
about.
best hot dogs? The C-stores.
The best hot dogs. Oh,
I can tell you which C store has the best food.
Which one?
Hands down. So there's Four Corners Grocery, which is out way in Yelm. But it's basically where like 4 one-way highways from really small towns kind of all intersect. I went in there to merch one time, and I saw like big bins of fresh dough proofing in the fridge, and I was like, "What the fuck is this little gas station doing
Really?
proofing fresh dough?" Yeah, it's deep, so you'd like it's not really worth it to go out there. But when I saw that, I went out, and they were making like calzones and like stuffed pizzas and stuff with their own like fresh dough, and I bought one. 100% the best gas station food I've ever had.
Yeah, I generally avoided eating gas station food.
I did not.
What?
I am
Why?
still such a bitch. I will for sure buy a gas
Be a
station
Ramka
snacks.
thing.
So
Did Andy call you to come to Urban Family like Pete did at Seven Seas?
So the funny story about that, and I like to give Andy a lot of shit about this. So in, I think it was 2021, there was an open sales position at Urban Family. I applied. I got an interview. They hired someone else.
how dare they?
Yeah, I mean, they ended up hiring Samantha Morin, who, if anyone knows Samantha,
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Okay, that's
yeah,
fine.
like I would hire her over me like every single time. She's amazing. I think you've had her on the podcast, right? For sure. Yeah, Samantha's amazing.
Actually, she had us.
Oh, perfect.
That is true.
Fast fashion.
Fast
Yeah.
fashion, yep.
Okay.
So they hired Sam, and then after like almost exactly a year, she took the job with Stillwater, and then I got the phone call.
Nice.
So
Being second to Sam is still pretty good, though.
yeah, I'm not mad about it.
I wouldn't be either.
I give Andy, the owner of the brewery, a bunch of shit about it to make him feel bad, and it works every single time.
Hey, I need a raise.
But
Yeah.
like
I bet you give Sam a raise.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I would too.
yeah,
Did you go straight from Seven Seas to Urban Family? Is that right?
Yeah.
Or oh,
yeah, and that
I feel
was
there
like
was
2.5 years
stuff
ago.
in between. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
That was during our running club.
That was during our running club.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember the
I
running
remember
club.
talking about that.
Were you doing running
I
club?
remember the transition that you were having. We had like a little unofficial brewery industry running club.
I remember
The
this.
Katie.
Yeah, Katie
And Ben.
Katie Johnson.
And,
Ben and Ryan,
Justin
Byrne.
too, right?
Justin Johnson.
Johnson.
Triple J.
Yeah.
I would do that
Do you
too,
run much?
but I was
anymore?
not motivated.
Yeah, I've fallen into the pit of running once again. In like March, sometime at the beginning of the year, a friend of mine was like, "Hey, my dad and I just signed up to do a marathon. You should also sign up." And like at that point, I was in the worst shape I've ever been in my life, and so I was like, "Yeah, no, like I don't think that's really possible." And she was like, "Well, I just had a kid, and my dad is 65 years old." So yeah, she was like,
Fucking gaslight much?
yeah. So she was like, if we can do the full marathon, you can at least do the half. And so I was like, all right, cool.
Oh
yeah,
wow, she did.
yeah. And I was like, all right, yeah, no, I'll do the half. So
Ran
yeah,
with the baby.
pretty much, yeah. We did run a 5K where she ran with the baby in a stroller.
That's
and
fucking
That's hard. Those things are
crazy.
heavy.
Yeah. That's amazing.
It was all
Babies?
flat. It was great.
No, the stroller, what baby and
Yeah.
stroller, and I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
These are heavy too.
Yeah, babies are
Those
heavy.
things are
I hope she had a bob. I hope she had a bob.
She had
Stroller.
She had a nice stroller. I
Yeah.
don't know if it was a
Probably
Bob
Bob.
or a Bill or
It was.
whatever.
A Phil.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna crack a new beer, and actually, Ron has an Urban Family barley wine on, so we're gonna snag some of that. But we're gonna take a super quick break. We'll be right back.
Hello, Channel 253 listeners. This is Citizen Tacoma host Eric Hanberg,
And sound producer Doug Mackey.
and this is election season 2024. And if you're like me and sound producer Doug, you are watching those polls, sometimes good days, sometimes bad days, especially those swing states, the national stuff, North Carolina, Michigan,
Arizona.
There's a lot of things that we're watching that aren't Tacoma. And this is just a gentle reminder that there is this podcast network about Tacoma and things that are interesting to Tacomans, and that is Channel 253.
And as we move toward the election, Eric Hamburg will be back hosting Citizen Tacoma podcast.
We have Nate Bowling at Nerd Farmer.
Evelyn and Joe will be with us again.
There's always the white ladies to break it down.
And the sisters to make us open up.
So when maybe the national news is just a little too much, please consider turning to Channel 253 for your local content. And don't forget that, we are listener supported, member supported, $4 a month, $40 a year. Your support can really mean a world of difference to us right now. And that is at channel253.com/membership.
And thank you for your ongoing support.
Absolutely.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging out during the break. As always, a quick shout out to Doug, our wonderful producer.
Doug!
Thanks. And to Channel 253, please make sure you guys go check out and support Channel 253, especially if you want to stay connected to Tacoma. It's a fantastic way to do it, and there's wonderful podcasts a part of that network. We all have new beer in front of us. 2 new beers. Ron, what's this little beer you brought?
The Treehouse in the City from the Urban Families.
All right.
From all the families.
David, you have to explain this beer.
So it's a really fun barley wine. We used a bunch of different barrels for this one. It's a combination of rum, Madeira, whiskey, and Scotch.
Rum, 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 rum.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like poolside. If it wasn't a barley wine, it'd be like, are we poolside right now?
If Bethany was a Pokemon, that would be like the sound.
Needs a little umbrella in it.
So,
Is that what you're
Sorry,
saying?
continue.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I think like one of the barrels we use was a Scotch barrel, and it like really shines through without overpowering the rest of the beer, I think.
Yeah, it's awesome. Super light, too.
Yeah, it's I think like
Explain the name
13%.
and the name of the other beers that are similar to it.
So Treehouse in the City is our barley wine. Lighthouse in the Woods is our barrel-aged stout, imperial stout. I'm trying to remember which one came first. I think it was Lighthouse in the City. And then we were trying to come up with something kind of in that realm that Eric, our artist, could kind of take in that same direction. And so we thought a Treehouse in the City is kind of like that. So, just a bunch of dummies sitting in a room trying to riff on different jokes and make something that lands every once in a while.
Find a name that you won't get a C&D for.
I mean, or find one that we will get a C&D for.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
These it's hard to sell. It's hard to tell what's better for you as a brewery. Getting the C&D or avoiding it.
Yeah, I mean, we've tried pretty hard and we've not been successful. So,
In getting one?
we're either doing something really wrong or really right.
Yeah.
And they're all in 12-ounce cans, too.
Yes, they are in 12-ounce cans just for Phaedra.
The barley wine?
You were listening.
Yeah, I think we played with doing 19.2s of barrel-aged beers for like a run, and it didn't really go very well. And then we switched to 12-ounce cans and 24-packs, and that also didn't go very well because it's a lot of single cans to sell at $13-14 a piece. So we last year made the decision to switch to 12-packs, which did go quite a bit better. I don't know, Ron seems happier about it.
I do.
I do seem happy about it.
Much more manageable.
Yeah. And then what's this hoppy beer you got?
Hoppy beer. This is a beer that I pulled off the line this morning. It was getting packaged this morning.
The nose is incredible.
Dude, orange zest for days. Holy shit.
This is a new brand for us. It's Cyborg Tiger. Hazy IPA. 6.5% alcohol.
Yup.
It's
Citra,
really
Chinook, Idaho 7.
I thought for sure there was fruit in here somewhere.
Yeah.
It's
Dude, I
just
know.
so juicy and
So
like,
Sean
citrus.
does he does all of our, if not all, then the vast majority of our IPA recipes. His background is as a chemist. He was working in a lab before he got into brewing professionally. So he takes a very like chemistry heavy approach to how he builds a recipe. And so we're able to get some like pretty big flavors out of the hops.
Oh man, super soft body too. Like the water on this is obviously like
Dialed.
I would imagine very like dialed, but also like very chloride heavy versus sulfate. It's like super pillowy soft.
Sure,
May I have a
all of
case?
those things.
May I have a case, please?
Yeah. I've got one in my car. Just
Yeah, perfect. It's totally not in the hot car. All right, well, I'm
not
gonna take
hot out, it's
the
cold.
last of these. Phaedra,
cold
did
out
you
right
have
now.
I
some?
had some. Yes.
Okay, great.
Go
Really good.
for it.
yeah, go for it.
That's it's very, very good. My goodness.
Yeah, I feel like I keep saying this about our IPAs, but like every time we come out with a new IPA, it's I think the best one that we've made, which is awesome for someone who's trying to sell the beer.
Yeah, and you can be honest about it.
Yeah, exactly.
This one's a little different, but it's still really good. we know what you mean.
Yeah,
You fucking liar.
I'd never do that.
Okay, well, like we said in the beginning, you just got back from GABF. And it was your first time there?
It was my first time. Yeah.
How was it?
It was a lot, and also not as much as I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
So I had this vision in my mind that it was going to be the events were going to be a lot more normie heavy, for lack of a better term. But it really, it was all of the breweries getting together and hanging out at Bierstadt, having all the slow pours.
Yeah. David sent me pictures of
Yeah,
his
I
slow
sent around
pours.
pictures too.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, it's that thing you talk shit about.
Yeah, and all the different breweries that were in the area. I had a great time. Got to connect with a lot of really cool people, really talented brewers. I wasn't planning on going into the festival at all, but got talked into going out on the Friday session.
Actually attending GABF?
Yeah.
You're like, I just want to go down
Yeah.
and hang out in the same city that GABF is happening.
Yeah, like for us, like we just locked down distribution in Denver earlier this year.
Nice.
And yeah, they take a couple pallets a few times a year. Nothing crazy, but
That's a good clip. That's like, especially for out-of-state distribution, that's like a good spot to be in.
yeah. So I didn't really have any interest in going, and then we locked down distribution, and so I made the pitch to Andy, the owner, and was like, hey, we've got distribution now. I think it makes sense for someone to go be there during GABF.
Someone.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I'll do it.
yeah,
If I have to, yeah.
it just so happens to be my territory.
Yeah.
So yeah, the layout of GABF was different this year. I'm not sure I'm totally sold on it because it was everything was split out into different themes that didn't really have anything to do with the breweries themselves.
Previously
which I thought
it was region.
Previously
Like
it was
by
region,
right?
yeah.
Right.
Which I haven't gone, but I would imagine is better because I would know to, like, I've had all or a lot of the breweries that are in the Northwest. Like, I'm just gonna go to like the Southeast or the Northeast or
Yeah, for
something.
Sure.
But for this, it was set up. There was like a sports section. There was Oktoberfest section. There was a Halloween section, which was just like the lights were turned off and it was really dark.
You were telling me about this earlier, and it just
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So like I
Just like what?
Damn it.
I went, and it's like everything is just so like jammed in together. I wasn't really ever sure what I was drinking.
Damn.
What was the space one like?
That was
Space
the
ones?
Yeah.
yeah that
Blast
was
off.
That was over by the Halloween section where the lights were turned off.
Oh.
So
So you don't know what you're drinking.
yeah, the funny story about that
Look,
is
it's spooky. Like, flip the light.
Wait, flip them on and off, on and off. That's even better.
so I was meeting up with Dan Worth, who works for Migration Brewing in Portland.
Oh, yeah.
And as I was walking into the building, I texted him, and he goes, "I'm under the giant astronaut." And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And sure enough, I walked in, turned the corner, and there's like a blimp-sized astronaut hanging from the ceiling that is lit up and glowing because it's in an area where the lights are turned off.
Was that the themes last year, or was that set up last year, Ron? Was it themes also, or was
No,
it region?
not. This was the first year.
Oh,
It was
Yeah.
regions.
okay.
Why are they doing this?
Because
Such a valid question.
there's so many younger people showing up at JABF, and they want an experience, not necessarily beer.
Okay.
And they were like,
Okay.
so the, okay.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
a beer festival.
So they were like, there's a bunch of young people coming. What if we theme all of the corners? Like, this is what young people want, is they want space themes. Man.
Yeah.
It's about
You
like
just
when they
think
did
Pilsner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you're over in the sports section playing cornhole,
That's
with your
Super
1 ounce of
sporty.
beer.
Yeah. Did they have a water station over there?
The sports that-
And if there was a water station over there, I surely didn't
Did they
find
have a
it.
Gatorade or?
Nor
Well, there
do
was
we
a year that
There
they
was
did.
a chill lounge too, right? Or a chill area.
Was there? I also didn't find that
And a
section.
mingle too. Did you see that? Did you
No.
go mingle
I
and meet?
didn't.
Not inside the
Not that,
festival.
yeah.
But was the silent disco still there?
The silent disco was there. I did not.
That's the best part.
I did not sprain my ankle.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
In my
Sprain your
opinion.
ankle.
Took me 6 months to heal my knee.
Oh, it was me. That's what it was.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
But yeah, there was a year
The,
they did
uh,
alphabetical order too.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
They went from
everyone
regions
within
to
the region
alphabetical.
or within the
Yeah.
theme was alphabetical. But yeah,
I feel like region is the easiest thing to do.
It makes
to
the most
appeal
sense.
to the
Sure.
most people that are actually there.
yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I mean,
man.
If it ain't broke,
people that
don't
are spending
fix it,
$100
guys.
to get into the festival are people that are there to drink the beer mostly.
Sure.
I would think.
Yeah.
But the idea is to present an experience.
Yeah, and they definitely presented an experience. Yeah,
And they also presented hard cocktails in cans, right?
That's right.
And hard teas.
So yeah, there was.
I'm sure that was really popular with all the brewers.
What section was that in?
I did not go into that section actually.
Okay.
I was just popping in and out everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was the RTDs. There were, I think there was seltzers there. There was cider.
Yeah,
This is
cider,
the-
cider awards.
yeah,
too.
this is the first year that there was ciders included in GABF.
That to me is a way more effective way to get
Totally.
new people in
Absolutely.
the building
Yes.
rather than
Yes.
theming your sections after silly things.
Or if you really want to, have regions, have the different, ciders, seltzers, whatever, and
Right.
then give each of those sections themes if you really want to have a theme, right?
So it does both.
So like P&W or the Northwest, whatever, has a theme.
Right.
And Southwest region has a theme.
Right.
And the ciders has a theme. But
Yeah,
make it make sense to me, please.
I think that's why I didn't end up going to a lot of the sections that Ron is asking about, is
Yeah.
because if you're there to try as much beer as you can,
Right.
you're spread really thin.
Sure.
So if I did pop through one of those sections, it's hard to say if I did or not, because I'm honestly not really sure.
Unless it was dark and then you were pretty sure.
Yeah,
Were the bagpipers still there?
bagpipers were not there that I saw.
So all the pomp and
Or heard.
circumstance is gone. Right?
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, at least in the Friday session when I was there,
yeah.
I didn't see.
I mean,
a lot of
time
that.
releases, all that kind of stuff.
No,
No timed releases? Dang.
at least not
Not that you saw.
not that I was aware of.
Not in the
Utopia line?
spooky
Is that
section.
there?
There were far fewer lines than I remember,
Wow,
or than I would think. there
Really,
would have been.
really
Yeah.
different.
So maybe the Friday session was just the chill session.
I mean,
So
it
wait,
could have
how
been.
many pretzel necklaces and like the necklaces with all the cheese and the meat sticks and the candy bars and the
I think my favorite pretzel necklace that I saw was there were two people walking around with like full size like soft pretzels
I've seen
Around their
that.
necks?
around their necks.
Around their
Okay, that's
necks.
kind of sick.
Yeah. Yeah, like
It's
respect it.
It's like the Flava Flav look, but different.
kind of, yeah. But it was like 4 or 5 giant soft pretzels.
Yeah, dude, that's 100%.
It's like someone went to the Wright House and was like, "Yeah, give me all the pretzels
All
you
the
have."
pretzels.
Yeah.
Straight.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys have dental floss?
Did people dress up in the space area, like Star Wars or anything like that?
I didn't see any of that.
Wow.
Are you just thinking of all the missed opportunities?
Yeah.
Have any of you guys ever been to HomebrewCon?
Nope.
Okay, so that's like, it's funny because that's like a really fun part of HomebrewCon. It's like all of the themed brews and everything.
When Brown's Point was on, they talked about that last
Yeah, for sure. And like it's super fun and people get really into it. There's a Utah brewery that all look like Mormon missionaries and it's like it's very cheeky. There's one that's like really like pirate themed, but it's like they fucking have like an actual front of a ship as like their tap system. It's like so cool. So like there's a version of this that totally makes a ton of sense, but you kind of need like the buy-in from all the breweries and maybe the organizers to make that as fun as maybe it sounds. If you have a space themed area, probably takes money and energy and time to like make it a space theme area.
Yeah.
Although the giant inflatable astronaut sounds
Yeah,
lovely.
that part was pretty cool.
Did you see a lot of booths that were crazy?
There were a handful that were crazy. There, like I said, a lot of them were kind of smushed in together. So, not if you were in one of the smaller spaces, I can imagine it's pretty hard to get elaborate. But some of the sponsor breweries had the corners and were able to.
WeldWorks always does a big giant thing.
Yeah, WeldWorks. I'm trying to remember the other breweries that also had big, giant, elaborate displays, but I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Okay. Okay, so I have not been to GABF, and it's mostly because I don't want to go on my own dime, but my work has not, it's not crazy, unless you're trying to sign a bunch of breweries from around the country and you're trying to get that face time, it's not the most valuable thing for a distributor to do. Also, distributors are the enemy to a lot of these smaller breweries that go to GABF, so I'm not super popular at those events anyway. But I don't know. I guess the more I hear about it from people, the more I'm like not as motivated to go. You went to one day this year. Do you feel like you would go back?
So I think I would go back to Denver during GABF.
That's it.
That's the answer.
That's the answer.
I don't really have any interest in pouring there, my intention when I went to Denver for GABF in the first place was not necessarily to go into the festival.
Just to work the market and hang.
To maybe not so much work the market because everyone's already bought the beer that they want to buy.
Sure.
I did have an event set up at this really cool bar called Improper City, and it was just it was a distributor. Words are hard. Distributor showcase. And so it was us. It was Voodoo Brewing out of Western Pennsylvania. It was Dewey Brewing out of New Jersey, and one other brewery. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. But yeah, I had an event set up at Improper City and hung out there for a while.
Nice.
And again, it was just a bunch of industry people that ran through.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
The Denver scene in itself is kind of the attraction.
So that event was weird because Voodoo and Dewey were using that as a pre-funk before they went to go pour on the Thursday session of GABF. So we were there at 3. And this Improper City is a bar. It's also like a cafe type thing. So the place is massive and filled with people working or studying or doing things.
Being productive people.
Yeah, being productive members of society.
Sounds cool.
And then enroll 25 degenerates from breweries from all around the country, getting hammered before they go into
in their black metal t-shirts. Dude.
True.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So that part was awesome, disrupting everyone's work.
You guys still lambic? Speaking of which, did you guys go to Hop and Pie?
I did not. No.
Oh, you
That's the place.
moron.
That's the one I was talking about.
Is
Yeah.
that kind of northern Denver that you told me about before? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. Probably the best pizza I've ever had in my life, and I've visited all of the famous pizza cities, and it was so good. And their tap list is unfucking believable.
Yeah, that was on my list of places to go to that I didn't make it for. I mean, I think our distributor down there is going to have another like trade show type thing. They did it in May last year, so I'll probably go down around May again. I pinky promise I'll make it there this time.
Good. Can you mail me some of their Korean pork belly pizza?
Yeah, I'll overnight it. It'll be fine.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's all I
No
want.
problem.
So it sounds like JBF is more like a party these days than a
Yeah, I think really.
Then a what?
what it was.
I think really what it is it's like a manifestation of where the craft industry is at currently.
Ooh, say more things like that.
So I think it's
Very
it's-
deep and insightful, David.
Say more things like that.
it's something where there's clearly excitement around it, but maybe the draw isn't quite there. I think there's definitely a lot of recovery from COVID still happening, and I think that is just like it's all kind of showcased in an event like that.
As in, like, the things that people are actually excited about who are already here, and then also, like, the shortcomings that maybe we experience in trying to attract new people.
Yeah, and trying to hit that new demographic, but also just like people going out, people going like traveling to be at GABF.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's still definitely on the recovery, but it from what I saw, it's
People still went. They were still hyped.
yeah, people are
But
still
you just had
excited.
to know about it, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not entirely different than the craft beer scene in the Northwest, where people are excited about the things that they're excited about, but they're not necessarily going out all the time to, Peaks and Pints or to Urban Family or wherever to
Right.
to spend their money on craft beer.
Right.
And it seems like there's a slow kind of trajectory up, if I'm being hopeful.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's just kind of a showcase of where we're at as an industry.
Seltzers, hard teas,
Yeah,
ciders.
yeah. I mean,
Everything, all the
there's-
new
Themes.
yeah.
there's a reason why the BA included cider and seltzers and RTDs in GABF this year.
Yeah.
RTDs is wild.
Yeah.
That's ciders I get.
That's
and
almost- yeah, it is.
kind
That
of
is kind of
seltzers.
that
RTDs
is
is
a
where
leap.
I'm like,
I'm also
For sure.
questioning whether RTDs were there. Phaedra, can you fact check that for me?
No, they were.
Give me a second.
they were, yeah.
I checked it.
Ron's got it.
Thanks, Ron. Appreciate you.
Well, Doug just flipped me off very kindly just a second ago, so I think that means it's time for a fuck up story if you've got one.
All right, Grit and Grainers. I'm Sean Jackson, and I fuck up all the God-blessed time, as we all do. So, please do regale us with your fuck up stories.
Yeah, I've got plenty of fuck ups. I think all of my fuck ups are things that are not super consequential to my life.
Must be nice, bro.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I mean, I've been working in sales for or merchandising for the last 10 years. So it's all like sales fuck ups. I think.
Which you can bullshit your way out of.
Yeah, I think my favorite, like my
like-
biggest fuck up, is also one of the biggest sales that I've ever made.
All right.
Which is interesting. So I was a grocery rep for Marine View Beverage. They carried, Coors Light and Blue Moon and Heineken and like a lot of the big like macro breweries. And so I sold in a football display for at a Walmart. And the manager who was currently overseeing that section of Walmart was like, yeah, like I want this to be huge. And you're going to have it from week 1 of preseason through the Super Bowl.
Wow. Damn, son.
Yeah, and I was like, sweet, I just made all of my numbers for the next,
Yeah,
like,
you did.
4 months. And so it ended up sending in enough beer to make a 50-foot long battleship that was probably like 20 feet tall.
Sick.
So it ended up being like 600 cases of like 624 packs of Coors Light, like
Holy shit.
124 packs of Miller Lite, of MGD, of Coors Light or Coors Banquet, and then like probably 70 cases each of 12 packs of Blue Moon and Heineken. And
only in America is this thing.
This display
This is an atrocity.
It was awesome. I was looking for pictures of it and I couldn't find it. It's buried on Facebook somewhere. But it ended up being like 1,300 cases of beer, which for anyone unfamiliar, that's a fucking lot of beer.
That's so much more than you could.
And so, like, the plan was, like, at the time we were able to, swap out fresh beer for old beer in accounts, and then we would send that beer to to JBLM to be sold at the commissary for super cheap.
It's 100% what used to happen.
Drink our old
Yeah, 100%.
It was awesome. So 2 things happened like 3 weeks after that display got put up. One, the manager for that section of Walmart, because there's like 47 different managers at Walmart at any given time, changed.
It's true.
And the new manager did not want that there.
Did not appreciate it.
No.
So I had like 1,300 cases of beer just sitting on pallets in the back of a Walmart.
So they broke it down.
The
Like, they were
receivers
like,
hate.
Oh, yeah.
It's illegal to return it. You can't just
That's
return
right. We
it.
talked about this.
Yep.
We know this.
So yeah, we can't return it. So I've just got beer there. And then at the same time, there was a new person in charge of JBLM who
Stop giving us your old
They stopped
shit.
doing the beer swap because he didn't want his soldiers getting drunk. So we couldn't do that anymore. So instead of making all of my numbers for the next like 4 months, I spent like 6 months swapping out old product for new product.
Oh my God.
And so like I didn't sell a single case into the store of Coors Light, of Coors Banquet, of Miller Lite, of Blue Moon or Heineken. And so, you know, that's all fine and dandy until the following year when we're
when you're doing numbers.
when we're looking at numbers, and my sales goals for all of those brands were crazy high.
We need a 60% increase.
My goal was like, you know, increase those brands by like 3% or whatever, like just something pretty manageable.
Yeah.
So 1,700 cases.
Yeah. And I'm down like 45% because of this one store. Of course. And yeah, it's one of those things that ultimately I think got me written up for and was asked to not be a grocery sales rep anymore.
But now, wait a minute. That wasn't your fault, though.
Oh, they don't care.
Directly.
Right?
It's just spreadsheets and numbers. That's it. You're not
That's
you don't even have a
shitty.
name.
Yeah, if my numbers are read by like 50% on like the second most sold beer in America,
Yeah.
it's not a good look. It doesn't matter what the circumstances.
I'm glad you made it over to the craft side, man.
Yeah.
Same.
I still don't like it. I don't think it's not right. I don't like it.
All right, Grit and Grainers. Email us at cheers@gritandgrainpodcast.com with your comments, opinions, and theme experiences for next year's JBF, such as pre-post-holiday depression area, Pops Alzheimer's Lost Styles area, Got Milk Sugar area, and very concerned adult-flavored malt beverage area. We read and drink everything we receive, and we try to respond as fast as we can. If not online, then on air. You can subscribe to Grit and Grain on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and Stitcher, and please leave us a review. Also, check us out on Channel 253. Woo! And GritandGrainPodcast.com. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for episode notes, beer news, and extra encouragement because, as you know, there were no alarms or whistles or charming notifiers or clowns or sparklers or strippers or toaster ovens, surprise party, not even a measly congratulatory phone call from a zippy cute billionaire tweener who runs Untapped, offering you a free Herman Miller's chair, a fistful of stock options, and a lifetime supply of Skittles for your Untapped check-in to Professional Human Being Hazy IPA from Ambitious Ales in Long Beach, California, at JBA. So way to go. This podcast is not what you expected. Please alter your expectations. Should JABF have an Adderall information booth for brewers who would really love to produce huge, impressive volumes of super focused beer every day, and yet who are far too easily distracted by email and upcycle articles and delicious, completely not safe for work blogs like this and this and this and this and this and this. Oh yes, and this and this and this. Don't click on any of those. You may never come back. No such thing as a bad time to visit Tacoma. No such thing as too much barley wine. Tune in next Friday for more sweet chatter. Cheers.
Cheers.
It took a while to figure out where you were going.
Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us at Grit and Grain Podcast wherever you get your social media and catch new episodes every Friday. Cheers.
Channel 253 is member supported. I'm producer Doug Mackey, and I hope you will show your support by going to channel253.com/membership and join. Thank you. Grit and Grain is part of the Channel 253 podcast network. Check out our other shows: Nerd Farmer, Interchangeable White Ladies, Move to Tacoma, Crossing Division, Citizen Tacoma, What Say You, We Are Tacoma, Flounders B Team, and Taco Man.
This is Channel 253.
Get up.